This tractor had a mower deck on it when I started. I don't know if I'm going to put the mower deck back on it, but I am going to put these mounting brackets and parts back on. I try to keep things like that with the tractor. Somebody might need those one day. This should have a cotter pin in it. Right now it's got an old rusty finishing nail. The background noise in this video is brought to you today by the local farmers. They're in the field across the road at the moment. I didn't want to take this apart to clean it, so I'm going to use this little wire brush to get in there. Alright, I'm going to spray it with WD-40 and let it sit for a day. Almost forgot this piece. This is the wheel weights off of that tractor. You're looking at the inside, or the part that should be towards the wheel, and you can put them on either side of the wheel. The valve stem's normally on the inside of a wheel horse rim, and you can see there's a cutout in these weights that allows them to be on the inside of the rim and not touch the valve stem. You can see how the bolt holes are really huge on the back side, but on the outside they're the right size for the bolt. Alright, here we go with the wire brush again. Looks like Jake thinks it's time for me to take a break for a bit. All these pieces are ready to go back on. I already got the nuts and bolts cleaned up. I had to find another hex nut and a couple of lock washers, so I had all the right hardware on there. This slotted screw was in the rear position. I think it's for clearance because that linkage moves right over the top of it when you disengage the belt. Here's the old spring for this. It's got a big bend in it, so I probably won't use it. So in addition to pulling the pedal back, this piece has to be spring-loaded counterclockwise. So to accomplish that, the spring is connected to the cotter pin. So the cotter pin has to go in with the eye on top to make that happen. I like the cotter pin to not be in so deep, so it's easier to connect the spring to the eye. Well, the camera died, so you missed it. Here's what it looks like. Usually the cotter pin bends a little because of the spring pressure, but it still works good, and it's easier to connect the spring. Here's the spring I'm going to use, made by Century Spring Company. I got these at our local farm supply store. These are smaller than the one I used on the brake pedal linkage. The loop in this spring is closed. I'm going to have to bend it a little bit so I can hook it in the cotter pin. Well, I didn't bend in the right place, so I got to do it a different way. Well, my camera died again. Seems unlikely to have two bad batteries, so I cleaned the connections, and I think it's working good now. Now this spring has a gap in it, and I can connect it easier. I had to rebend this end of the spring too, so I could hook it into this big cotter pin down here. And this is the one that was in there originally. Never did take it out. Well, I don't like the way that hangs down there. I remember on this cotter pin one of the legs was bent. So I'll bet I can turn it 180 degrees. Maybe it'll be better. Yep, I think that's probably the way it was originally. When the mower deck's installed, if the pedal is depressed, the belt would be disengaged. If the spring's installed correctly, to turn the mower deck on, you would depress the release latch and then release the pedal. And to turn the mower deck off, you depress the pedal without touching the release latch. Well, I wanted to get back to those wheel weights, but I don't have the right bolts. So I got a few more things I need to get done here. I forgot to spray the hood with WD-40. It'll help make it look like the rest of the tractor. I was hoping this tire was going to be okay. Remember, I changed the other one because it was blown out on the side. And now this one here is getting the same way. That's the inner tube right there. So here's a different tire I'm going to put on. It's going to be the same style. I showed how I got the tire on and off the rim when I did that first tire. So I'm not going to show all of that again. Here's what the inside of the rim looks like. I'm just going to wire brush that and put it back together. Well, I got my new carriage bolts. If you use carriage bolts, they fit in those square holes and you don't have to use a wrench in the back. I like to rotate the tire so one bolt's on the top and one bolt's on the bottom. Then I can reach them both from the back. These things rely on the shape of the wheel to stay centered, so you want to float them in while you tighten the nuts. That is, just wiggle the thing back and forth so you can find the best spot to tighten it up. If it's seated properly by hand, you don't have to turn the nuts with a wrench very much to get them tight. Well, that's as far as I'm going this time, and here's what it looks like. I think it turned out really nice. Got 4 good tires on there now. Everything works properly except that little rod knock I've been talking about. It's almost winter time around here, so working on the engine might be a good indoor project. Yeah, that's looking good now. Alright, that's it.